What's up, guys, and welcome to the Lifting Love Podcast. You are awesome, and today the episode is brought to you by Lake Hickory Pub and Marina, where lake and life meet. Boom. You can see the sign right there. Today we got a special guest, someone I get to call a friend, someone who's a community leader, a doctor. My friend, it's your favorite chiropractor and mine, Dr. Matthew Kirkland. How are you today?
I'm doing great. Thanks for having me.
Finally on the Lifting Love Podcast.
That's
officially.
Right. Took you long enough. Some friend, right?
Well, listen, I got to tell you a funny story real quick. We met a little over a year ago, right? And
was it a year? I guess it was
been
a year ago.
over a year
Man,
ago.
time flies.
It's flying.
I got so much white in my beard. I guess that's why. Slowly dying.
So I met you about a year ago, and since then, your name in my phone has been Dr. Matt. I've never changed it. Not like the Dr. Matt,
Yep.
like Dr. Matt.
Like
period.
one word?
Like one word. Like you are Dr. Matt in my phone. So I kind of wanted to get right to it. What do you do for the people who might not know who you are?
Well, I'm a chiropractor, first of all. I don't know where you were going with that. That's what I was...
Tell me about your feelings.
I know, right? I was like, okay, whatever. Rando. I'm a chiropractor. For those of you that don't know me, I've owned my practice for going on 3 years now. I've been a chiropractor since 2019, but I've owned my own practice for about 3 years. So,
and let's go way back. So you're a chiropractor now. Was it something that you've always wanted to do?
No, it wasn't my first choice. I mean, not saying that this was my second choice, because it's not.
Option B.
Actually, I didn't have a plan B when I first started. No, my plan A was to be a dentist. I know, you're right. A dentist? No. For the Rudolph fans out there. If you didn't catch that. Didn't catch that. But anyway. I wanted to be a dentist, first of all, because, well, I've always wanted to be a doctor. And I think I've told you this story, but I've always wanted to be a doctor since I was little. I've always had a heart to help people. I want to help people. I want to care for people. And the dentist was the only doctor I wasn't afraid to go to, which is weird because everybody hates going to the dentist, and I don't know why.
I hate going to the dentist.
Everybody does, and I do not know why. Well, not people like going to some people don't like going to the chiropractor either. But
sounds like you're speaking from experience.
They're scared too for some reason. But no, the dentist was the one doctor that I'd never had issues with, like, never had cavities, knock on wood, things like that. And then, but going through like the process and going through all the stuff trying to apply to school, because I had the grades, I got interviewed at Chapel Hill, East Carolina, things like that. But it just kind of got really depressing or just like not reward. It just didn't feel like it was right, and
it just wasn't what you were expecting it to be.
Yeah, that's probably bad. Yeah, it wasn't really what I was expecting. Or the process was so like painstaking and grueling and all that too. But I got rejected the first year, which is typical unless you make a lot of money or know somebody. That's you're going to be rejected like that. But then I applied again.
So sorry to interrupt. When you say like you failed,
you didn't get in.
It's like a test.
No, you if you don't know how getting into school, you have to apply and pay money to the applications, and then you get interviewed by the school, by several people in the school to see if you'd be a good fit. And they'll decide how many. They only select so many students to go into the program. And I wasn't one of those students that got selected. So I tried again the following year. I boosted my resume a little bit, and I still got rejected. And at that point, I was just kind of like, all right, I'm done. I was like, I don't know what's wrong. But anyway. So it took a couple years off working at the job in this kitchen that I had all through college and high school and all that kind of stuff. And I was miserable. I was in a pretty bad place in my life just because I'm like, I don't have a plan B. And I just went to school, spent all this money to get this degree, and my plan A didn't succeed. So what am I going to do with my life now? And I was like 25, 24, 25. I mean, how old are you?
I'm 26.
Oh, I was about to say, I was your age. Yeah. So here you go. Here's your future. I was 25 at the time, And then I was just like, I don't know what to do with my life. And then I kind of, well, my mom actually has suggested that I look into chiropractic. And I had went to a chiropractor when I was younger, like 13, 14, for like, posture, because I have a kind of a bad scoliosis. And I didn't really like it when I first went, because the doctor that I went, he didn't really take a lot of time to kind of explain what it is. And when you're a kid, sometimes you don't really understand it.
Yeah.
And we stopped going. But then I looked back into it, and I thought about it. I'm like, well, I'll check it out. I mean, I knew a little bit about it. So I reached out to the chiropractor in my town at the time. And I asked him if he would give me some information about chiropractic. I was curious. And he loved it. He took me under his wing, and he offered me a job as a CA in his office. So I got to get out of the kitchen that I was in and actually do something that I could make money on and learn. And I loved it. And I was like, this is completely different than any doctor's office that I've ever been into. Well, the patients were happy. They were laughing. I mean, they didn't look, I mean, some of them were hurting, but they didn't look like they were, like, you need to go to a doctor's office. It's a very depressing place. I mean, no offense to the doctors out there, but it's a very depressing place when you go to the doctor's office. Everybody's coughing. Everybody looks like they're miserable.
I mean, you probably should say it depends on what doctor you're going to.
Of course, yeah. But typically, when you go to a doctor's office, it's not, you don't want to be there. Let's just say that. And anyway.
So going back to that first time you went there, it was kind of just something that you just automatically fell in love with? Like, was it?
Well, no, after like working there and seeing how the patients interacted, how they were getting results, like right after after their treatment, they would walk out better than when they walked in.
It wasn't like hey, here's a prescription.
Exactly.
It's going to take 3 to 6 months for all this to work. It was like instant.
Yeah, and it's a way that I have never seen before, like the benefits and the results that people want without all that,
Yeah.
And I was like, this is what I want to do. I think this is what I want to do. So I applied to Life University, which is down there in Marietta, Georgia, close to Atlanta, if you don't know where that is. And I got accepted. Of course, I heard it's very easy to get accepted into chiropractic school, but it's very hard to graduate.
Yeah.
And the way I say that is because you can get in, but it's a big process and a lot of didactic material that you have to get through in order to graduate.
So I'm going to preface that I do know the story up after this point.
Yeah.
But I'm really curious, what did you envision the trajectory of you becoming a chiropractor being? Like college, come back to where you live, this, that, and the third.
Oh.
What happened after college?
Like after I graduated?
Yeah. What did you think it was going to look like? And then what did that trajectory actually look like?
So pretty much from graduation till now?
Till now, yeah.
Okay. Well, then we hit a couple of other roadblocks on the way, because obviously after graduation, you had 3 options when you graduate. You can either open your own clinic right out of school, you can go work for somebody, like be an associate, something like that, or you could teach or do something like that, not do anything in practice.
What's the typical route that most people go?
Either work for somebody or work for yourself. That's usually what happens. I mean, there's a lot of people that don't, or they'll work for somebody else as like a franchise. Like you've heard of like The Joint or places like that. Those are franchises. They're chiropractic businesses where that person could buy into it and own it, but they're not owning it, if that makes sense.
Yeah, they're not like the main, they're not the sole proprietor.
They're the owner of that clinic, but they're not the owner of the company, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
So, going out of school, I did not want to own my own practice. I did not have that confidence. I did not have that knowledge to be able to do that. So I'm like, well, maybe I'll work for somebody. But I didn't really have any options at that point. Mm-hmm. But I went to a job fair in Atlanta, close to graduation, and I met this couple from Indiana, and they were looking for a chiropractor to run one of their clinics for them. And I didn't really have any connections, and they offered me a pretty good position, and I took it.
So North Carolina to Georgia to Indiana.
Yes. Southeast Indiana. They're getting a lot of snow right now, so I don't miss that.
And then so you
Amish
said
country out there, yeah.
So you said you didn't jump right into business, what like you talk about confidence and all that. Was it something you ever thought of, or was it kind of just like, no, I'm just going to work under someone, be comfortable in this?
No, when I took the job up in Indiana, I worked up there for about 2 years, and I mean, it wasn't really a good fit for me, and I didn't realize it until I guess close to the end.
Yeah.
But then I had the option presented to me that I would come back home, and I had some resources to help open up my own establishment.
Nice.
But the catch was I didn't let my North Carolina license, I let it expire at the time because I didn't think at the time I was going to need it. So I didn't renew it. And it's $300 a year for those of you that don't know to renew your chiropractic license.
So at this point, you genuinely had no interest in coming to North Carolina, opening your own practice, nothing?
At the time, no. At the time, I figured Indiana was my new home. I was going to be there. I did not let my North Carolina license renew, which is the biggest mistake I ever made because that was a $2,000 6-month process to renew it. And at the time, I couldn't work when I moved back because you can't practice if you don't have a license. So I had to, guess what, go back to my job at the kitchen that I was working in for about a year to build up money to be able to kind of get settled and stuff. But once my license did come back in, I actually started as a mobile chiropractor. Because I didn't start where I am right now, which is in the People's Bank in Viewmont. I started for about 6 or 8 months as a mobile chiropractor. So I'd go to different people's houses with my portable table, and I would set up in their living room, and I would adjust them. And that was okay, but that's a lot of stuff to have to deal with.
Do you miss that at all?
No. No, not at all. No. But I do offer like home adjustments and business adjustments for some businesses that I do. I'll go to their business and adjust them. But I do not miss the setup and takedown and breakdown and that kind of stuff. So I was very fortunate to find the location that I am in now. And like I say, it'll be 3 years next month in February for...
Hold on. 3 years is awesome. I know a lot of people don't celebrate the little milestones.
Around here, you have to.
You have to. Because 3 years...
Don't they say, like, 3 years, you're doing great, 5 years, you're set? Is that what they say in a small town?
I have no idea. But what I'm getting at is 3 years is incredible. 1 year, 10 years, 15. I mean, every milestone is incredible because, you never know, especially in the business world, when you're doing it by yourself, because you're relying on essentially strangers at first. Obviously, your patients become friends and people you talk to, and you have a relationship and rapport with them. But at first, I mean, you're really relying on strangers to help your business grow.
Yeah, of course.
So you did the mobile. You're going to people's houses. What led you to the spot you're at now? Was there did you meet someone? Did you hear about a potential office space? How did that work out?
We had a broker that my dad works with that we're pretty good friends with, and he was trying to find me a space, and we looked at some places around Hickory, but they were all kind of outside my price range. Because like I say, I was a new business, and when you're a new business, banks don't really like you very much.
At all.
Risky. So
they are taking no chance.
No. Without putting my parents' house up for collateral, no. No, I wasn't going to do that.
Hey, Mom, can we bet the house?
Yeah.
We bet the house on this one, right?
No. So, negative. So, I didn't really have a big budget for that.
Yeah.
But the broker, he kind of happened upon this place in the People's Bank where I'm at now.
Yeah.
And the woman, she's the property manager of the building. But that was her office. And ever since COVID, she's a lot of been working from home. So she was using that space, but she wasn't using the space, if that makes sense.
100%.
And you've seen it. It's not a huge space.
But it worked.
It works perfect for me.
You.
Yeah.
100%.
And that was a godsend because she said, well, I'll let you rent this office because I was going to move down the hall to the one suite or whatever it was. And the price, I couldn't beat it for where it was because it was half the price of everything else that everybody was asking.
Yeah.
So it's a great location. The only bad thing about that place is the visibility because I hear all the time, I'm on the 3rd floor in that People's Bank, but nobody knows where I'm at because they think that's a People's Bank. They don't think that's a...
Who he's talking about 95% of the time is me. I tell you, if you had the visibility of like the joint, the sky's the limit. Even where you're at, the sky's the limit because you also we've had conversations where it's like you still have that potential to grow the business even more, and you're still so busy right now, which is just an awesome place to be at. So you get into this building. Was it like a 3-year lease at first?
Yeah,
What was your mindset going into those first 3 years? Like now it's not just I'm mobile, like I can cover these expenses. Now it's like, oh snap. Like I have 3 years before like you have to make this work now. It's not just something you're doing on a smaller level. Like you have your own spot. How did that feel compared to being just a mobile chiropractor?
Well, I just signed another 3-year lease for it, so I'll be there for that.
Hold on.
But when you sign the lease for 3 years, you're like, 3 years, that's a long time. And now looking back, it was 3 years. Like, you sure it wasn't 3 months?
Yeah.
Because I'm like, looking back to where the person I was then now are completely different people.
Isn't that's the beauty of business, and that's the beauty of growth, and
of course,
and like, so again, back to the question. It's like, what did that feel like? Like you signed the lease.
Scary. Daunting. Let me make this clear. I know I am so knowledgeable when it comes to chiropractic, but when it comes to owning your own business, nothing. I'm learning, and I bet you a lot of people are in the same boat. This is a ship. This is a cruise ship of small business owners that don't know what they're doing.
And there are leaks on the side. We are patching them up.
But we learn every day what not to do and what maybe we should try again, kind of thing. So the process has been fun, but yeah, getting started it's rough because you want to be here, but you got to start here. Does that make sense?
I mean, 100%. I mean, I think the cool thing about being a business owner is you only see potential, right?
Of course,
even when you make mistakes,
what can I do
when
better?
You fail, when all these different things happen, like your only thought, at least in my case, I can't speak for anybody else, but like in my case, all I think about is like, how do we get better from here? How do we improve? How do we do this so next time it's 10 times bigger?
And that's called vision, and that's good. But as a small business owner, you're also your own worst enemy because you wake up in the middle of the night, oh man, do I need to change my logo again? Do I need to do I need to do this? Do I need to do that? What do you think my beard's so white? Stress and worry, right? People think owning your own business is great, and it is, but there also comes with a big price for that. And I don't think people don't really understand that because it's not for the weak, it's not for the faint of heart. Because when you have months where you're doing great and you're blowing up, and then you have months where you're like, I don't know if I'm going to be able to pay myself this week, or I don't know if I can pay my rent this month. I've had both of those in the past 3 years, and they come randomly. It's not like, oh, well, this month's great, so next month's looking good, and then everybody leaves, and you're like, where did everybody go? Because in a small town like this, everybody has the same schedule. Everybody leaves for the summer, and then they come back, and everybody leaves for the winter, come back. So the trends are constantly changing. So it's just to be the ability to adapt is a huge benefit to a small business owner.
So that's kind of a great segue into the next.
Look
question.
at this place, right?
100%.
Look at Dan. He lost his marina.
Lake
right?
Hickory Pub and Marina, amazing place, amazing story.
Yeah.
You're going to see an episode about them soon.
Yeah.
But that kind of leads me right into the next question for you, because one of the things I admire the most about you is that you're everywhere.
Is that a good thing or a bad thing, lady?
You are everywhere. You're at every networking event. You and Jay have collaborated on creating the social club, and it's been over. I don't know, how long has it been?
It'll be 2 years.
It's been over
maybe 2 years.
2 years.
It'll be 2 years in July, I think.
And you are just everywhere all the time. Where did that mindset come from? Did you have a plan when you first started, or was it kind of just you heard about the chamber and you heard about this networking group and you kind of just went to everything you possibly could? Where did that mindset come from being just visible?
Well, I learned, obviously, in the location that I was at, they're not going to find you. You've got to find them. So my goal was to try to get out and meet people so that way I can promote myself and my business. And I was trying to figure out ways to do that. And I looked into the chamber as an option because my dad had actually mentioned that he's not part of the chamber, but he had mentioned that he had heard good things about it. So I had looked into it, and I met with Nathan, who's the partner recruitment over there, and he kind of gave me some information, and I joined, and I just started coming to some of the groups, and I met some really cool people, started getting some patients from the chamber and stuff like that, and they just kind of grew. And then the good thing about that group is that they give you opportunities to meet people, and that's really what you need as a new business owner that needs fresh people coming in all the time, a repeat service, I should say.
Yeah.
And that's the whole premise behind the social club was we want to give people that opportunity to meet people in a risk-free way, so that way they can focus more on building relationships with each other than how can I sell you my business, if that makes sense. Because that's going to be
100%.
more. That's going to be more in the long run. Now, I don't know if that answers your question, but
No, I mean it did. I think the cool thing is really what I'm getting at is that you like you said when we first, like the beginning of this conversation, you were lacking confidence and you didn't really know what it was going to look like, and then you jumped kind of right into it, and we're like, now you're at, like I said, everything, and then you created the social club, and that has been growing month over month. In this whole journey, what's been your proudest moment?
I guess just looking back at all the people that I have impacted as far as like their lives and health, and then also looking at all the friends that I've made. Because you're right, like I go to several places and I hear that all the time from people saying, "Oh, you know everybody, like everybody knows you," and it makes me kind of feel like a celebrity. But then again, I don't mean to say that in a negative way, because I don't want to be like that. I'm just a very social person, and I just love people. And I want to know everybody, because the more people I know, the less intimidated and afraid I'll be in a social situation. So, like when I went first to a Friday morning brew, I didn't know anybody, and it's
nobody.
If you haven't been to a first Friday morning brew for the Chamber of Catawba County, it's intimidating.
Oh, it can
if
be.
You've never been, because it's 100%. Over 100 people.
I mean, sometimes we did one where there was 3 chambers there, and it was like, it was packed.
I missed that one, but yeah, it's
of
very,
course, but you probably would have known everybody.
75%. No, my goal is 75%. Because you can't grow if you know everybody. But anyway,
it's true.
No, but yeah, it's very intimidating for people, especially introverts, that want to help grow their business and they want to make money, but they don't know how to talk to people, and you don't know who to talk to. That's why I just had 2-3 meetings this morning for meeting new businesses, trying to get them plugged in to different options. Because they've reached out to me and I've reached out to them saying, well, how I'm a new business. What I see you and everything, like what are some of your advice that I should do, and what should I get involved in? And I'll tell them, I'm like, well, this is what worked for me, but you got to do it. Like you might want to join the chamber, you might want to join the social club or go to another group, but you've got to be there. Like I make it a priority to show up, because if you don't show up, you're missing out on a lot of opportunities, like that face-to-face interaction.
No, 100%. And I only have a couple more questions for me personally, but I kind of want to talk real quick about your business and the services you offer. Okay. And first, I want to start with why the name New Directions?
I have no idea. No, honestly, I really have no idea. It just sounded good. No, honestly, there's not really a big story behind it, but I was just thinking one day, like names of practice, and a lot of chiropractors will name their business after their self, like Kirkland Chiropractic, or.
And not gonna lie, it has a really good ring to it.
I know, but it just sounds to me it sounds too like Kirkland Chiropractic or Kirkland Family Chiropractic, things like that. They'll do. I wanted something that a little bit more modern-ish and sounded like it sounded really cool, and just the word New Directions sounded good, because you're trying to take your health in a new direction. We're trying to take, pause for dramatic effect.
I like that. If you're watching this, you need something like that.
Yeah.
Taking your health in a new direction.
Yeah.
Love that.
Otherwise, you're chasing your tail.
Oh.
Right? And the whole thing behind the logo, too, is that it's that little arrow, and so it's like you're going in a new direction versus like you're just going around in circles or, things like that. So that was kind of the whole premise behind it. And green's my favorite color, so that's why the whole green. Everything I have is green.
And then what services do you offer? Because chiropractic is such an interesting field. Yep. Because a lot of people probably just assume that it's only your back.
They were quacks.
It's only, well, not only that. I mean, but it's like.
All you got, Lenny.
People probably just assume like, okay, I'm only going to go to a chiropractor if I have back pain, or I'm only going to go there if I have joint pain, if I'm only going to go there because of X, Y, and Z. Mm-hmm. So what services do you offer? And then secondly, who do you offer services for? Because it's not just one demographic of people.
No, of course not. No, everybody's got a back. Everybody's got to take care of it. But yeah, I offer, obviously, chiropractic, wellness care, things like that. Pediatrics, pregnancy. I do pregnancy because some people don't feel like you can get adjusted when you're pregnant. You absolutely can. Kids need it too. That's why I promote pediatric chiropractic. I'm a CCEP, which just means that I'm certified in extremity work. So I do hands, arms, feet, legs. I do all of that. Not just your back and your neck need adjusted. And I do cupping in the office. I do dry needling, which is similar to acupuncture, but different. Like I said, if you want the information on that, I can give that to you because people ask me all the time, what's the difference between acupuncture and dry needling? I do some sinus work, and I'm always looking to add some new things to the office as well. But anybody can benefit from chiropractic. And I say that because it's like I usually compare chiropractors to like mechanics and electricians. Like we are the mechanics for the human body. Like some people like to view us as doctors. I'm not having pain. I don't need to go see you. I'm having pain. Maybe you can help me. No, you are constantly using your body every day and wearing it down. If you do it too long, you'll start having problems like headaches, neck pain, back pain, whatever, trouble sleeping. I mean, the list goes on and on and on. But you have to maintain it, and that's what chiropractic is. It's maintaining your body, just like dentist. And that's actually kind of funny because I remember I told you I wanted to be a dentist. Well, I actually kind of became one, but for everything else, if that makes sense. I'm not working on these.
You're
I'm working
on
these.
You literally do everything except crack teeth.
I could pull your teeth, but it might not be as pleasurable.
You need to sign a waiver for that one.
Yes. No, you sign a waiver regardless. No, but yeah, that's why I tell patients, because some people say, well, I don't have back pain. I don't have neck pain. Why do I need to come see a chiropractor? Well, you brush your teeth, right? Like, yeah, well, you don't have cavities, right? Your teeth aren't hurting you, right? Like, no, well, why do you brush them? Maintenance, prevention. That's what chiropractic is. It's preventing you from having problems. Yeah. If you took better care of yourself, you would feel better. And people don't understand that. And that's what I'm here to do. I'm here to help you.
My car's not leaking oil.
Exactly.
But
you take care of it.
I still have to go get an oil change.
I'm about to say, you don't, exactly. You change your oil, you don't wait for your engine to blow up. I guess I should have changed my oil.
Oh, my goodness. Is that why I kept the little thing came on?
Well, that's just it. You have check engine lights for a reason, just like you have smoke detectors for a reason. Yeah. And I tell people in the office, if the smoke alarm is going off in your house, you got 3 options. Either A, you can put the fire out, B, you can take the batteries out of the smoke alarm, or 3, you can just ignore it and go back to sleep. Well, logically, there's only one right answer. But when you tell people that, you're like, oh, well, if you have a headache, you've got 3 options. You can ignore it, you can take medication, put a Band-Aid over it, or you can figure out what the problem is and fix it. Yeah. It's simple. It's so simple. And that's why I get so frustrated sometimes with people, because they don't understand that health is not complicated. It's meant to be simple. The answers are simple. You just have to do the maintenance part, and that's just it. If it's not convenient, they don't, or easy, they don't want to do it. So, there's no magic pill that you can take to fix everything. Believe me, if I could do it, I'd be a lot wealthier than I am now.
So honestly, I only got like 3 last questions for you.
3. Here we go.
One kind of just plays off of what you said. What, as a chiropractor, because it's not like you're working for somebody else. You work for yourself. You're your own boss. What is the hardest thing, as someone who's still growing as a new business owner, or I shouldn't say new business owner because you're a small business owner, what is the hardest thing to get people to understand? Kind of just what you were talking about is, your body is, you only have one body. You have to take care of it. Mm-hmm. What is the hardest thing for people to understand about chiropractic care and why it's so important and why you should be preventative instead of reactive when it comes to chiropractic care?
One of the hardest things I get people to understand, is that what you're saying?
Yeah, the hardest thing for people to understand, like, why do I have to go to, or why should I go to a chiropractor?
Oh, that's a loaded question. Well, I don't know if there's just one thing. There's several things I'm trying to break stigmas on for people. I guess I'll say real quickly what they are. One is that we're not trained assassins. I don't kill people.
Are you sure?
I mean, properly. We know how to do it properly. No, we don't hurt people. We don't kill people. That's what I hear that all the time. Oh, I could never let you adjust my neck. Don't y'all kill people? People tell me that all the time. I'm like, yeah, I paid over $250,000 to go to school learn how to kill people. Number two is that, like I said, they don't think they need it or they don't believe in it because they don't think of it. Because when you think about chiropractors, we're trying to fight daily the medical and pharmaceutical companies. Because when you turn on the television, what do you see commercials for? Ozempic, Wegovy, Lunesta, Prilosec, OTC. I mean, the list goes on and on. You know.
They're not even calling it Ozempic anymore. They just have commercials for GLPs.
Oh, see, I don't care about it. Well, they're not good for you. Let me just say.
Absolutely not good for you.
Well, that's what I tell people. If you have a headache, you could either get your neck adjusted or, honestly, not even get your neck adjusted. Drink water. 90% of people's headaches are caused by dehydration. Muscle spasms are caused by dehydration or electrolyte imbalances. That's easy. Now, like I said, I could spend a whole another podcast just talking about health and nutrition.
Which is why you have your own podcast.
I do, yeah. Shameless plug, right? Take Back Your Health podcast.
On all platforms.
But if you have a headache, instead of drinking, people would rather drink Clorox than water. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I get
like
it.
when you drink chemicals versus something. But anyway.
Hey, I'm really thirsty. Let me crack open this Coca-Cola
real
quick.
I know, right? Golly, talk about chemicals.
Or out here, Sundrop.
No, yeah, Sundrop Mountain Dew, I think, is around here. I say where you're, yeah, maybe a little southern. Where I'm from is Sundrop Cheerwine up here, and it's probably what Mountain Dew or something. I don't even know. You know. But I guess the biggest thing as far as that is just trying to get people to understand that, your health is really what you make it. Like if you treat yourself like crap, you're going to feel like crap.
Oh, for sure.
You are the ultimate decision maker for your health, and you cannot blame anybody but yourself for what the situation you are in health-wise. Now, obviously, yeah, we can't always control genetics and things like that, but you can control what you put in your body, what you breathe into your body, what you think in your body, because mental health is a huge thing nowadays. And you can thank these things right here for that. When we have a society that tells us we're not good enough, we're not something enough, that also helps stress. Stress is the biggest cause of everything. And just trying to balance stress. And I know that's easier said than done, but there are ways.
10 times easier said than done. The last two questions I got for you, the last one, the last business one, and then I kind of want to ask you advice for people, but what are your goals for 2025? I know it's like it's something that's kind of like cheesy, but like, do you have any New Year's resolutions, or do you have any big business goals for 2025, and what can people expect from New Directions Chiropractic in 2025?
Well, one of my goals is to get to one of these classes over here, this Lake Hickory Pub and Marina, but he won't change the date. But anyway, to grow, obviously, I want to grow. I'd love to be able. I mean, people ask me if I'd like to hire another doctor. It's like, no, I don't ever plan to hire another doctor because I want to control the quality in the office because I never want to get overworked. But I would like to, I thought about originally moving to another space, but I don't think we're there yet. But I would like to hire a staff member at some point in the future to help with some of this, constant scheduling and telephone calls and patient flow and things like that. But growth is probably the biggest thing right now that I'm trying to do. And like I say, we're 3 years into it, we're leaps and bounds. We're leaps and bounds where we were when we first opened, when I was seeing 5 patients a week, and now I'm seeing 40 to 50, sometimes 60 a week, which is great. Which
is so awesome.
My goal, well, that's nothing to some people. my goal is to get to about 100 a week. And if I can get to 100 a week, I feel like then I could probably start to hire a staff member to help. But like I say, we'll see. But that's my ultimate goal, is just to grow and to get bigger and meet more people, help more businesses, really, which is what I'm trying to do.
And then my last question, and obviously to end, I'd like for you to shout out your social media. For someone watching this,
if you're still with us, right?
if you're still with us 35 minutes into this, if you're watching this, it's too late. No, for someone watching this, maybe they're a business owner, maybe not. What is the best piece of advice that you can give to someone? It doesn't have to be medical related, just in life in general. I think we talked a lot about how important your mental health is, and obviously your physical health is important, but a lot of people neglect both. But it's a lot easier to neglect your mental health than your physical health. Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah.
What is the biggest piece of advice you give to someone out there to inspire them, to motivate them, to affect change in their life? And what would you say to them?
I guess the thing to sum everything up would probably be pretty simple. Well, not simple, but don't give up. I myself have definitely had a couple moments in the past few years where I have really considered just shutting everything down. Like, I don't want to do this anymore. When you have those moments where you're not busy, you're not sure if you're going to make your bills, you don't know why you're not getting what's happened. Like, what have I done to cause this static?
Yeah.
And it's very easy just to say, I'm done. But I have always found that when you have those moments, like the next week or so, it's a complete 180. It's just crazy. And that's when you start to realize where your faith really is, I should say.
Yeah.
Because it can really, it really just builds your character, really, when you do that. So don't give up. I mean, it might be, what's the phrase? Like, it always gets darker before it gets lighter, something like that. Get all cliche over here.
What is the saying? It's the calm before the storm?
No, it's more like it gets darkest before it gets lighter. I think that's what it is. I'm not 100% sure, but I'm pretty sure that's what it is. But when you fall on your back, all you could do is look up. And that's what I usually tell people. But yeah, don't ever get up. You are good enough. Don't give up.
And then absolute last thing, again, I really do appreciate your time. I'm really lucky, and I'm glad to be able to call you a friend, and I appreciate all the help.
Ditto, my brother.
All the help and all the advice and the long conversations, because we've had quite a few.
Yeah. You're going through some life changes yourself, aren't you? Yeah.
About to have a baby love coming soon.
Uh-huh.
But no, seriously. So thank you for your time.
No, thank you.
And the biggest thing I also want you to tell the people is, where can people find you on social media?
Everywhere.
How can where can let me finish the question. Where can people find you on social media, and how can they get in touch if they're looking to book services with you? It's not even right. It's not even how it says.
You said I was everywhere, so just look out the window. I'm right there. No. My office, my physical office, is at, I don't know if you know the address, but it's at the People's Bank on the third floor of the People's Bank in Viewmont, right here in 127. As far as social media, we have New Directions Chiropractic, as Instagram, Facebook. I don't do TikTok, Twitter, all that stuff. We don't have YouTube yet, but we do have a podcast. Like I say, the Take Back Your Health podcast. That's on all platforms. That's just a little 20-minute episode-ish, talks about different avenues of health.
Yeah, he doesn't like the 30-minute, 40-minute type of podcast.
Well, when you're listening to a podcast, you can either sit here and watch it, or you can drive down the road like an audiobook, and I figured it's easier for you to listen. You can't really watch this while you're driving on 127. You'll get into an accident. But yeah, those, and like I say, phone number, website. You can book online, New Directions Chiropractic -nc.com. It's so long, I hate it, but that's what we had to pick. We have an online portal. You can book online for that. We're doing a new patient special this month, 25% off. New year, new New year, new me special.
New year, new move.
I know, yeah. New me, less you, right? Yeah. Be a good weight loss one right there. New me, less
Well,
you.
do you have anything for February? Because this episode's probably gonna come out the first week of February.
Oh, so you have to cut that. Okay.
Yeah, we're gonna